Imagine pouring your heart, soul, and every last dollar into building a dream from the ground up, only to have the very people who once doubted you suddenly demanding a share of your success. That's exactly what happened when I created my own clinic, starting with nothing but a tiny rented room, endless debt, and sleepless nights. My family wasn't there during the struggle, yet the moment my clinic began thriving, they appeared out of nowhere, acting entitled, as if I owed them everything. But they had no idea what I had prepared. Ever since I was a teenager, I dreamed of building a clinic of my own, a place where people could walk in, feel safe, and know they were in good hands. That dream became the fire that pushed me through years of long nights and endless studying. I took on extra jobs just to afford tuition, often working until dawn before heading straight into lectures the next morning. The financial strain was brutal. I lived off cheap meals, skipped outings, and sometimes questioned if the sacrifice was even worth it. What hurt most was that my family never offered encouragement. Some openly laughed, saying I'd never succeed, while others reminded me I didn't have the money or connections to pull it off. Their doubts weighed heavily on me, but deep inside, I held on to a stubborn determination. Every time I felt the pull of despair, I pictured my future clinic, the sign with my name on it, and the patients I'd one day help. That vision became my lifeline, the thing that carried me through when no one else believed I could make it. When I finally managed to open the doors to my clinic, it was nothing like the polished vision I had carried in my mind for years. The space was small, the furniture secondhand, and the equipment barely enough to get by. On most days, only 1 or 2 patients trickled in, and there were times I sat for hours in silence, wondering if I had made a huge mistake. Behind the scenes, the pressure was crushing. I had taken out massive loans to even get this far, and the constant calls from debt collectors were a reminder that failure wasn't an option. I worked punishingly long hours, often juggling side shifts just to keep the electricity on and the rent paid. Strangely, it was friends and even complete strangers who showed more kindness than my own family, offering small acts of encouragement, referrals, or even bringing in patients when they could. My family, on the other hand, stayed silent, never once asking how I was coping, never offering a dime of help. Their absence stung, but it also hardened me. If I was going to make this dream a reality, it would be entirely by my own strength. Slowly, things began to change. The first patient who walked out of my clinic smiling told a friend, who then told another, and before long, word of mouth started to spread. People began to trust my work, and the trickle of patients turned into a steady flow. With each new case, my confidence grew. Positive reviews appeared online, and neighbors who once passed by without a glance now came in to see what I had built. Bit by bit, the clinic transformed. I was able to upgrade my outdated equipment, add proper furniture, and eventually hire a small team to share the load. For the first time, I felt a taste of financial stability, enough to pay off overdue bills without fear and breathe without the constant weight of debt pressing down on me. Standing in my clinic, watching patients being cared for in a space I created from scratch, I felt an overwhelming pride. Yet, beneath that pride was a quiet sting. I couldn't forget who wasn't there during the hardest nights, the family who dismissed my dreams, ignored my struggles, and only watched from the sidelines. Their absence echoed even louder in the face of my success. Just when I had finally found my footing, my family suddenly decided to reappear in my life, almost as if success had sounded an alarm they could no longer ignore. Out of nowhere, they showed up at my clinic, their faces beaming with fake smiles and exaggerated excitement. "We always knew you'd make it," they gushed, showering me with praises that felt painfully hollow. I could almost hear the echo of their past laughter, the mocking words they once threw at me, and yet here they were, pretending as though they had been my biggest supporters all along. At first, it was subtle, requests for small favors, a free checkup here, a discount there, special treatment that other patients never received. But soon, their tone shifted, dripping with entitlement, as if my success somehow belonged to them too. They dropped phrases like, "Your family, so of course you'll take care of us," and, "After all, we believed in you when no one else did." The hypocrisy was staggering, and while I smiled politely on the outside, inside I felt a storm of anger brewing. They hadn't lifted a finger to help me build this dream, yet now they acted as though it was theirs to share. It didn't take long for their requests to escalate into outright demands. What started as free checkups and discounts quickly turned into bold claims over what I had built. One relative leaned back in my office chair and casually said, "This is family money. You wouldn't even be here without us." Another, with a straight face, insisted, "We helped raise you, so technically this is ours too." Their words hit me like a slap, not because they were true, because they weren't, but because of the sheer audacity it took to say them. Soon, whispers turned into demands for ownership, with suggestions that I hand over a percentage of my profits as though it were the most natural thing in the world. They painted it as fair, twisting family bonds into a weapon to guilt-trip me. "You owe us for everything we did for you," they'd say, piling on emotional manipulation in hopes I'd crack. Inside, my blood boiled, every nerve screaming to confront them, but I forced myself to stay calm. I knew anger would only feed their narrative. Instead, I listened, waiting, planning. They thought they could shame me into submission, but they had no idea what was coming. The final straw came one afternoon when my family stormed into the clinic together, their voices loud enough to make patients in the waiting room turn their heads. They didn't come for checkups this time, they came with demands. One uncle slammed his hand on my desk and declared that the clinic should be split since, in his words, it belongs to the whole family. Another threatened that if I didn't comply, they would go around the community claiming they were co-owners and had funded my success. The arrogance was unbelievable, but I had been preparing for this very moment. Without saying a word, I opened a drawer and laid out a stack of receipts, contracts, and loan documents, each one stamped with my name. Every bill, every repayment, every signed agreement was undeniable proof that I had built this place entirely on my own. Their faces shifted from confidence to shock, yet even then, they tried to twist their words. "Paperwork doesn't change the truth," one muttered, clinging to their narrative. But the truth was clear, and for the first time, the power in the room shifted away from them, straight back where it belonged, to me. I sat back in my chair, calm but firm, and told them the truth they didn't want to hear: this clinic was mine and mine alone. No matter how much they twisted words or played the family card, they had no claim over what I had sacrificed everything to build. I laid down new rules right then and there: if they wanted treatment, they would pay exactly what any other patient paid. No discounts, no exceptions, no special privileges. Their shocked faces turned red with humiliation, and a few of them erupted with angry protests. But this time, I didn't flinch. I had already spoken with legal advisors, and even the clinic's security staff stood ready to escort them out if they crossed the line. Slowly, their shouting lost steam, and one by one, they realized there was nothing left to grab onto. They left that day with their pride shattered, their entitlement exposed, and their plans crushed. As the door closed behind them, I felt a wave of freedom wash over me. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving, I was standing tall, vindicated, knowing I had defended my dream with proof, strength, and the courage they never expected me to have. At the end of the day, my clinic isn't just a business, it's proof of years of sacrifice, resilience, and independence. My family may have tried to claim what wasn't theirs, but the truth is, success only belongs to those who earn it. Walking through the clinic doors now, I don't just see patients, I see the battles I fought and won. And as for my family? They learned the hard way that you can't demand a share of a dream you never helped build.